Hello everyone and welcome back. Let's continue with our painting journey. So I've got my wet palette here and it's really working very well for me. Everything is still usable, and let me just run over some of the colors I'm going to be using for today's session. I'm introducing magenta and a cadmium orange. Then already on my canvas palette, I have lemon yellow, titanium white, cobalt blue and sap green. So that is what I'm going to be using today in order to beautifully color in these lights in the sky, like I like to call them, field of possibilities, spheres of blessings. This is what it represents for me. So I'm curious to sort of find out what you think these spheres are in the sky. What does it say to you? What meaning can you derive from some of the symbolism on our canvas as we develop it? Please drop me a comment below this video and tell me all about it. Alrighty, so I've got two round brushes here. I think I'm going to be playing with a smaller one. So let me just activate it with some water, and let me also just get a fresh kitchen towel as we begin to develop these lights in the sky. Now on the reference material, which I'm going to bring up for you guys now, you will notice there's a number of colors in each of these spheres. So I'm just going to try and capture some of that. I'm not going to try and copy it, but I do want to bring in some of that playfulness in the color. So I'm going to start right here at the back with this one next to the sun, and it looks like it's got a nice deep background. So I'm going to bring in some of my yellow ochre, and I think I'm going to warm it up a little bit with a little bit of my cad orange. And then I'm just going to play with the sphere. And I'm not going to entirely cover it up. I'm going to leave a little bit of a ridge of that periwinkle that we had there. So again, everything is built up in layers. I'm going to jump to another one that looks very similar to me in background. I hope you guys can see how I mix the colors here. And it's this one just below the sunlight. I think this little one over here can also have a little bit of that background. Just warming them up slightly and just seeing where some of that color might be helpful. So I'm just going to go on the side there, and with this one there's some movements over there. This big one over here has some warmth as well. This one is rather cool, but let's just bring some of that in. And this was one of my own interpretations. I'm gonna warm that one up as well. So while that is drying, I'm gonna jump to my cad orange and bring in a little bit of magenta with it as well. Maybe a little bit more magenta. I see a little mark there. So it's really all just about adding some of these elements, and together they will form a whole, a oneness, a unity. See some here. It's not perfect brush marks. It really is very loose and interpretive. Alrighty, I'm going to grab a little bit of my sap green and I'm going to just introduce a little bit of yellow to it. So I'm adding a bit of my cadmium yellow and just brighten it up a little bit. There's a lot of green in this one. Okay. It's fun to just observe what you can see in your reference material, and then you have the choice always of how you will interpret it and bring it forward in your painting. There's a bit of blue. Exciting! So this can go much lighter. This one has a little bit of a radiance about it. I need to make that a little bit more purplish. So I'm adding some magenta here to my blossom blue, and there's still cobalt on my brush as well. How are you guys doing? This is so exciting. Let's mix a little bit of a lighter color. So I'm using white in this blossom blue to just create a little bit of a highlight around. Some of them have beautiful radial radiance essence about them that I'm just trying to capture a little bit here. And I think what I will do later is I might introduce a little bit of oil pastel to the game as well, because you're able to create a little bit of an atmospheric vibe with the waxiness of the oil pastel. That's easy to smudge. Okay, now I'm going to go for this lemon yellow. Brighten some of this up. Very playfully. So the marks that I'm making is very loose None of this is really blended. That's really cool. So while I've got the lemon yellow on my brush, I'm gonna just lighten it with a bit of white, soften it a bit. Just rolling my brush to mix this color. Don't have a lot of mixing space on this palette anymore, but that's okay. And I just want to talk a little bit about some of these radial effects. I'm going to dive into my cad yellow. I didn't rinse my brush. I like to get varieties of color. It's still the same family of color that I'm working with, so no need to rinse your brush, because you will create beautiful depth and a little bit of variety in your color that I think will add to the beauty of the piece. Isn't it amazing how the sun is suddenly standing out a lot more? Okay. I'm just bringing in a bit of white into my cad yellow. I'm looking for a brighter blue. Let me see. I must play with this cobalt, but add a bit of white to it. Put some of my white without contaminating it. Oh, there's a delivery, so sorry for the noise. It's almost like painting some roses in the sky. Add a bit of water to improve the fluidity of my paint. That's pretty. Just breaking them up a little bit here and there. And as we paint our flowers and the rest of the dragonfly, we might notice a color that we haven't introduced to the spheres, or a value that we can further develop as we go forward. So it doesn't have to all happen and be finished in one go. I'm gonna make even a lighter green here. That's nice. And just brighten this up a bit. It's very ethereal, so it might take a minute to capture the light in a way that you are happy with it. But also don't give too much power in the sense, that you feel, oh my word, I'm not getting these spheres to look exactly like the reference material. Anytime you're confronted with something like that, I just remind myself, I'm not a Minolta machine, I'm not a photocopy machine, and that's not the point of this exercise. The point of this art is to relax and to enjoy what you're doing, and to create your own world with your own marks and your own brush marks, and that is really very powerful. Just notice a moment there. I like that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to a fine liner. And I'm just going to get into my titanium white, and I'm just going to roll the tip, because I want to have some very fine lines. Just to talk a little bit about some of these radial highlights. And I'm just dancing with the toe of this brush. Having a Van Gogh moment. I saw this little TikTok of little dolls that always is creating one or the other funny moment. So the scene that they were depicting was a gallery in the Netherlands, and there is a Van Gogh painting on the wall, and the person is standing there and saying, "Oh, it's a Van Gogh." And then there's a Dutch person standing next to them, and they get annoyed with them because they're not pronouncing it correctly. And she turns to him and says, "It's Van Gogh. Van Gogh." That is the correct way to say his surname. So it's very, and you find that sound in Afrikaans as well. Ons praat baie so. So I just found that funny because you could even see the spit flying out of their mouth, trying to make this person understand that it's Van Gogh. So we're having a Van Gogh moment here with our beautiful lights in the sky. That feels a little bit more exciting. And I'm always reminding myself as well, make it your own, make it your own. This is what's coming out of my brush, and this is what I'm able to produce with the paint and the brush and the circumstances that I have, and that's good enough. It's exciting enough, it's beautiful enough, so don't let it hold you back. Alrighty then. I think we at a very good place. There is obviously a lot of texture and line work and movement that is possible, but we are developing this painting one brush stroke at a time. Alrighty then, I think I want to add, while I've got my fine brush here, I want to make a very soft peachy kind of tone that I'm noticing there in the sunlight. This is another variety. So it's very light. Giving a bit of warmth to the sun. And I'm going to keep adding to this sun sphere until I'm happy with it. I think I must get into my liquid white because it's going to give me a little bit more of a finer line. But I did just want to connect some of the white with the center of my sun. I want to have a little bit more of the orange in my spheres, but a light orange, not too deep. Maybe a little bit deeper. Deeper still. Pretty. Okay. I guess that's a good enough place for me for now to be where it is. I also think I personally do like a bit of splatter, and I do like a little bit of starlight. So I'm going to grab my fan brush if I can find it quickly. Okay, I'll just use another fan brush for now. Okay. What I'm going to do is I want to get my white acrylic ink. You can use titanium white and just dilute it quite a bit with water until you have a very nice fluidity. I'm going to use just my white acrylic ink here. And I'm just going to dip the toe of my brush into my titanium white. Let me grab another brush. And very lightly, I'm going to tap for some splatter, but very fine splatter. So don't put a lot of paint on your brush. That's enough. I just like how it sort of brightens up the night sky there, and just talk a little bit about some starlight maybe into our painting. I like that effect. It adds to the atmosphere for me. Alrighty then, I think our next step is going to be to play a little bit more. I'm going to let this dry and I'll see you guys in the next section.